So you've got some more questions. Perfect. We've got you covered. First, let's talk about this trifecta of certifications that help develop leadership skills, and they can prepare you to either transition from the military or perhaps into another career. Really a universal application across the board. We're talking about people, we're talking about process, and we're talking about project. That is our trifecta of certifications that really create this powerhouse as you're getting ready to go back into the marketplace. Let's start off with the process. Continual process improvement is a methodology that teaches us how to look at an issue in an organization and determine what's going on. More specifically, let's talk about Lean Six Sigma. It looks at focusing on waste and variation in a process, but either way, what it teaches us is how to look at the failure of the process and not the failure of the person. Instead of coming in and saying, why did something go wrong? Why did this person do something wrong or that person do something wrong? What we're really asking is, what happened in the process that allowed the people to make a mistake or that caused them to make a mistake? Putting the fault back on the process changes the perspective of the people involved. And we look at that in a very systematic approach, understanding how and what is going on in the current process, where the defects are occurring, where the failures are occurring, where are delays occurring, what problems are we having from this cost, quality, and speed perspective. And we focus in on those areas as a team, with the team that's working on that process. The next one I want to talk about is the people. People is the change management side of change. Right? It's another methodology that helps us understand how do we find where resistance is in an organization. We know change is hard. We know some people like change, some people don't like change, and we all live on a different spectrum when it comes to change in an organization, depending on what we gain or what the organization gains, or if we've tried it before, or if we're in an organization with change fatigue. Our focus in change management, the people side of the house, is to introduce the concept of change. Start to understand how the organization, more specifically, the people in the organization, understand what that is. And then how do we move past these resistance barriers, whether they are interested in it or not, whether they have desire to change or don't have desire to change. Do we have the right training? Do we have the right skills? Do we have the right things to give them what they need to make the change effectively? And then most importantly, is it reinforced by the leadership? We can't change without that leadership. One concept that we focus on is understanding the mindset of the leadership so we can determine the culture of an organization, and that allows us to make a change to the process. So the last one in this trifecta wheel that I was mentioning is the project itself. And there's a lot of different disciplines in here, but they are a lot of frameworks. You've heard of Project Management Professional, no doubt. It's a very popular certification. Along with that comes Agile Certified Practitioner. Now, while these live in the same space, they do have some differences. While Project Management Professional is widely known, it's a very saturated field. So many people have that it becomes very competitive while you're there. And it is a multi-layered version of how to manage projects in an organization. Agile Certified Practitioner, it's a portion of the PMP, but is solely focused on the agile techniques, which is really what the buzzwords in industry are these days. It's a very iterative approach to making a change. Instead of coming in and saying, this is everything I want defined right now, give it to me as a full project in 6 months, 6 years, it's agile. And it says, you know what, just tell me what you're looking for, and we're going to do a little work, and then we're going to test it to see if it's what you're really looking for, so we can keep making changes as we go along. Another practice inside of Agile, or a discipline of Agile, is Scrum, Professional Scrum Master. Very lightweight framework for project management, but excellent in use with small teams that want to move quick, think quick, and act quick. Follows a product backlog, sprint backlog, time box function, so it gives us a very deliberate action. Now, where do these all come together? Not only do they form this powerhouse, but this Scrum technique that I'm talking about, which again is a practice of Agile, just as Lean is a practice associated with Agile. This lightweight framework allows us to manage an organization, manage a small team deliberately to change a process while integrating that change management aspect that gets the employees, the management, and the leadership on board, rowing the boat in the same direction at the same speed. All right, so that was a lot just talking about these certifications. But when we talk about the process, right, the one that we primarily focus on, it's the Lean Six Sigma, and the Black Belt Lean Six Sigma is the one that you're looking for. That's the level that teaches you all of the skills within that methodology. Now, it takes time to master the skills, but it doesn't matter what belt level you're achieving. A mastery of this skill takes practice, whether it's project management, change management, Lean Six Sigma, it doesn't matter. They all take mastery, but that black belt, that gives you the introduction to all the tools, all the skills, full story, full kit, and it's the one that carries the most salary in industry, right? Because at the end of the day, we all have to make money. We have to support our families. We want to support ourselves. According to salary.com, 2025, median salary for a Lean Six Sigma black belt is in the range of $130,000 to $135,000. Now, we have found that some enter the market higher than that, depending on what their background is, especially when they have military experience and leadership experience, plus they're Lean Six Sigma certified, black belt certified, that carries a little more weight. And then if you have some of these additional certifications, again, starts to creep up that scale a little bit more. Right, so that Lean Six Sigma black belt, very, very powerful tool. Anytime you can tell an organization that you can improve their quality, save them money or make them money, and help them deal with their speed and their time management, they're usually open ears. Very universal. Right, then we get back to that change management. Again, salary.com, and you can look in a few other places as well, but 2025 has the median salary of change managers in and around 125 to 130K. Again, this is a rising concept in industry. How do we manage the people? So if you have the people side and you have the project side, you can see where these start to become negotiating factors for salary. And then we still have the project side. Now, while PMP has become a saturated field, the median salary may not be as high as it used to be. It's still in the $70,000 to $80,000 price range or salary range for junior project managers with a PMP. Now, Agile certified practitioner carries a little different weight, typically has a little bit higher median salary range just because it's not a saturated field. And then Scrum is a discipline on its own, and we're back into the six figures. Right, so I take that moment to tell you that all of these people, project, process, all of these certifications that I'm discussing, they are universal to industry. A process is a process. It doesn't matter whether you're a logistician, whether you're a medic, whether you're an engineer. Changing people is changing people. Again, it doesn't matter what industry that you're looking in. Same thing with managing projects. These salaries fit in all of these ranges. I also wanted to talk about ways to achieve all of these certifications, that trifecta we mentioned. Now, I've talked about credentialing assistants and I've talked about COOL, but how do you get all of them and pay nothing out of pocket? We have you covered there as well. But there are a few different roads to take, right? So let's start off with the Army side of the house. Let's say that you've got some credentialing assistants left, but you only have a little bit left, or you have a very short period of time left, less than 1 year in service. You only have enough time for one FY of credentialing assistance. My recommendation is to use that for your CCMP. Our CCMP, or that change management course that we have, it is coupled with our Scrum course. So when you sign up for the CCMP, you get the Scrum Master as well. It's 2 certifications for 1 course. And it keeps you in that last year or 1 year window of using credentialing assistance. Now for the black belt, here very soon, we will have our GI Bill online as well, and you can use that GI Bill if you still have it to take the Lean Six Sigma black belt. It only takes 2 months out of your allocation for your GI Bill. Now, unfortunately, if you've transferred that over completely to spouses and dependents and you do not have access to it, that might be a limiting option, and we may want to discuss another avenue. But I do have one caveat for you. For those of you that were in the military prior to 2009, if you paid into the Montgomery GI Bill prior to 2009 and then opted in for the post 9/11 after 2009, I have good news. There was legislation that was passed recently that because we had both and never used the Montgomery GI Bill to its fullest potential, You can fill out a document, a piece of paper, it's a 22-1995, that will allow you to recoup another 12 months of benefit, even if you have completely extinguished your post 9/11, even if you've transferred it all to your dependents. You as the service member can get 12 months back, and we can walk you through that process. It's a simple application. It's a simple process. You contact us and we'll help you. Even if you're not taking our course, call us and I will help you get back that 12 months. Doesn't matter what branch of service that you're in. Especially where this is important is with Marines and with the Navy that currently do not have access to credentialing assistance or COOL. The GI Bill is your option for that black belt. So again, feel free to ask us questions on that, and that is for any of the services. So you can use that credentialing assistance for your CCMP. If you're in the Air Force, it could be the COOL or the Space Force, same thing with the COOL, and then the Coast Guard's COOL as well. You can use that program to pay for change management. You can use the GI Bill to pay for the black belt. And then we talk, and the Scrum is already embedded in change management, so you've really got project, people, and process. But in addition, if you really want that PMP, you can go through Udemy. And again, we will walk you through this. In our classes, we help everybody understand how to still achieve those things. You can use Udemy to satisfy the 35 hours of education needed to apply for the PMP. And we have a myriad of training and preparation programs and simulations for you to help you prepare for that exam. There's another program out there that we recommend heavily, O2O, through Syracuse University. Now this one has a few limitations to it. Udemy is your go-to, so I would recommend if you have some time left in service, you have no intentions of transitioning in the next year to 2 years, use the Udemy as your route to go for your PMP instead of using credentialing assistance or more GI Bill. It's a very low cost, no cost program really, because Udemy is free to service members right now. So it doesn't cost you a dime to work your way to the PMP. If you are close to transition, O2O through Syracuse University, brilliant program. They pay for one complete certification and exam. That could be your PMP or that could be that Agile Certified Practitioner. So again, if you're using Udemy for PMP, then you could use O2O for Agile Certified Practitioner or reverse. Either way, we're still talking about 2 certifications, nothing out of pocket. Don't have to use any of your benefits, CA or COOL, or your GI Bill. The only exception with the O2O program, you can only use it 6 months prior to separation and 12 months after separation. Now, for any of you that may be looking at the Skill Bridge program, if you use O2O during that 6 months prior to transition, it will count as your Skill Bridge. So be very aware of that. But the great part about that program is if you wait till 1 day after you have your DD-214 in hand, there is no Skill Bridge affiliation. You are simply using the O2O program to achieve either PMP or ACP at no cost with no strings. So I know that was a lot of words, but there's a very clear roadmap in there. If you have some time, you have the GI Bill, my recommendation is change management through the Army CA program or the Air Force COOL, Space Force COOL, Coast Guard COOL. If you have the GI Bill, do your Lean Six Sigma using that, and then use Udemy and O2O. You'll walk away with Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, Certified Change Management, Professional Scrum Master, PMP, and ACP, all costing you nothing. Now, the only time that I would recommend a variation or a deviation from that initial path, if you have no GI Bill, if you have no access to Montgomery GI Bill because you've joined after 2009, and if you have a little runway left in the military, my recommendation would be to start off with your black belt now. Get that one out of the way using credentialing assistance. Yes, it takes 2 FYs for the Army, but you start off and you get that hard one out of the way. And then the 3rd FY, you can take that CCMP and Scrum. Same thing with the Coast Guard. Start off with the black belt. You get $4,000 per year, so it'll pay for the entire program in 1 year. And then you can come back the next for that CCMP and then use all those other programs, still hitting all those certifications. With the Air Force, we will work with you. We will figure it out. You have that program to pay for the $4,000. If you have no GI Bill and you're still looking for other options, we'll have a discussion. There are ways that we can figure out how to help you still achieve all 5 without the GI Bill and without paying out of pocket. So now I've eliminated all of the excuses, right? There's no reason not to go after these certifications to prepare yourself for transition, to prepare yourself for a new industry, prepare yourself for the next phase of life. Everything is paid for. All you're giving up is a little bit of time, and that time translates into zeros and dollar signs. And everybody loves dollar signs. Come see us. Let us help walk you down that path. So the other thing that I want to talk about is all these things that you see around me on the screen. What is most important, not is just that you have a piece of paper that says that you're certified, but it's who you train with. That is what employers really start to look for. They want to know that you've been certified by an organization that is true to a specific industry standard, worldwide accepted body of knowledge. With project management, it's very simple. PMI, or Project Management Institute, leads the charge on that. If you're going to be a PMP or an ACP, you want to go through Project Management Institute, PMI. Let's talk about the Lean Six Sigma side of the world, one that we're really focused on, right? The process in an organization. This one you see down right here on my side, ASQ, that is the cream of the crop. ASQ is the best body of knowledge out there, or the most widely accepted. Now there are others. The other side of the screen, you see CSSE, you see IASSC, or this Six Sigma in the center here, and then this other organization, the AALSSC. Again, very well-known, widely known organizations, and all of them are recognized. Now, we at Lean Alaska, we are authorized training organizations for all of them. We are connected to ASQ, IASSC, CSSC, and so on, the alphabet soup that you see on the screen. The reason we've done that is to make sure that we have the most comprehensive training for you, and that we can offer you an avenue to any one of these that may suit your needs. Or, if none of them do, we're still affiliated with them. The majority of our alumni go on to industry simply by going through our course. Now, when we teach Black Belt, we do it a little different. We incorporate change management, or an aspect of change management, in there, just as we do with project management, more specifically Scrum, right? It's the reason we call it Lean Alaska Fused Methodology. It brings it all together. In addition to these process improvement affiliations, you also see QEP over here. This is our ACMP, or the Association of Change Management Professionals. This is our affiliation for change management. In addition, our instructors are trained by ProSci and Cotters, again, multiple models. All of that, again, is to mention that when you're looking for training, who you train with is critical. There's a difference between I watched some videos, passed a test, and I have a piece of paper, or I trained with an organization that was affiliated and is connected to the industry standard. So when I sit in an interview, I have the answers to the questions, or I have experience to give them, or I can demonstrate my understanding of this information, right? That is crucial. Now, how do we work on this, right? Well, let's just happen to say you're in the military. Again, we've got you covered with a few different roadmaps. If you look across my banners, across my head, we have the U.S. Army, the Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard. These 4 specifically have a cool program, or a credentialing assistance program, right? Depending on which branch is for their title. But they are benefits that you get to take credentials on an annual basis. Each one of them is a little different, and I'll talk about each one just a little bit. For the U.S. Army, they have credentialing assistance. Credentialing assistance has changed, but again, we've been able to adapt to that policy. It is $2,000 per fiscal year for one credential. Now, you can phase credentials a little bit to where you're taking phase 1 in a fiscal year and phase 2 in another fiscal year, which is how our Black Belt is ran. But nonetheless, it's still fully covered by the U.S. Army, right? $2,000 per fiscal year for one credential. So why not max that out and go for the ones that are the hardest? In addition to Lean Six Sigma, NCA, Change management, over here, the QEP is also authorized as part of that CA program. Now we walk you through the steps. You find the course that you're interested in taking, you register on our website, and we walk you through the process. U.S. Air Force also has a very robust, very functional program when it comes to paying for credentials for airmen. They get $4,500 per career, per service, whatever term of service, whatever you want to clarify that as, but it's per career. Now, while that may seem a little bit limiting, I'm going to walk you through a roadmap where we have other avenues for all these other powerhouse certifications. But you do get that $4,500 per your career. Again, simple process. You register on our site. We have everything you need to communicate with your education center, submit your intent for the certification. They will fund it. You take the course. It's that simple. And for anybody that's in the Space Force, you fall under the Air Force's program. Exact same program, $4,500 per career per service member. Now, Coast Guard is a little bit different. Coast Guard also has really one of the better programs that are out there. I don't 100% know the limitations per as it shifts depending on funding per year, but they get funding for credentialing assistance and tuition assistance, which is the college side of the house, and they get that every year. Typically, it is around $4,000 per year for credential, training, and the exam. Again, very similar to the submission as the Air Force goes. You register on our site, we give you a quote with the instructions, you communicate that intent to the education center, and they will give you their specific paperwork required to receive funding for the course. And there are some nuances with the Coast Guard, but again, we're happy to talk to you and work through those stages. Lean Alaska has been around for well over 5 years now. Real short background. I was in the military for 24 years. I retired here in Alaska with my family and everything that we do. But I got a chance to learn Lean Six Sigma while I was in the military. I got to practice, I got to train, understand, work through a lot of projects, gain a lot of experiences. When I got close to the end of my career, I did transition over and I started consulting, working with industry, understanding how they applied these techniques. Really gave me a broad understanding of how this was applicable, again, to the military, to industry, and where they meet in the middle. So if you have a military background, the courses will do very well to speak that language. But Lean Alaska is the training arm of what we do. We provide Lean Six Sigma on all the levels. We primarily focus on green belt and black belt level, depending on what you're looking for. My recommendation is to do our black belt. It's an all-in-one program. We do change management as well, and we have Scrum. Other things are coming online, but those are the ones that we focus on primarily: people, process, project. But along with Lean Alaska, we deliver all of our training through MS Teams. Makes it very simple for service members if you're at home or whether you're abroad or whether you're at work. You can use your government computer or a VPN. So everything is in MS Teams. We record every day that we train. We know how chaotic the military can be, and it's extremely unpredictable, just as is family life. And nobody should be penalized because of an emergency when you're going through this training. And the last thing you want is to take the training over your family. So we take care of that for you. We record every day. It stays housed in our system. So if you miss a few hours or even an entire day, you can go back and watch those recordings. And what I offer to everybody, because it is in Teams, if you're watching that recording and you have a question, send me your question immediately. Send me a chat right there in Teams. Send me a message on my cell phone number. It's right here on the bottom of the screen. I will answer that question as quickly as I can for you asking that question, so you still have that near real-time experience as best that we can give it to you. In addition to training virtually, so you can be anywhere, we do start a course every month for different time zones, and we focus those time zones of training on your location. East Coast, West Coast, Indo-PACOM, CENTCOM, or European AORs. That's where we focus our four blocks, and they rotate monthly for all of our courses. So we do the program virtually, we record it, it stays housed in there, and most importantly, you have lifetime access to our training. Not just lifetime access to us, lifetime access to our training. So even after you take it once, if you want a refresher, if you decide next year that you want to change jobs or you want to get out of the military and you just want to come back in and hear it again, you're always welcome to come back. A simple email, hey Phil, I'd like to hop back in the class. Hey Trish, I'd like to hop back in the class. And we snap you right into that class that you want to be in. You don't have to test twice. That's only the first time. But you can come back and check it as many times as you want to stay fresh, stay relevant, or just see if I'm adding anything new. I constantly consult, which means I constantly add new material. We also have another program that's pretty desirable for our organization. It's our Spouses Independence Program. Pretty popular is our Spouses Independence Program. For anybody that takes our black belt course, your spouse and your dependent can take our green belt course for free. We understood over the years that while the service members had access to GI Bill, we had access to CA, we had access to all these different programs for training, to include just natural PMEs inside of our time on duty, the spouses' independence remained relatively limited. Even though we could give them the GI Bill, they still didn't have the same accesses. So we wanted to make sure that we offered a change. So we offer that green belt to our spouses' independence of those that come through our black belt program. The only caveat is they cannot have access to any of the credentialing assistance or COOL programs. Other than that, they're welcome in. We have everything from 10th graders to seniors in college that attend that green belt course. Another one that I want to talk about, the newest thing that we're doing, if you look over here on the other side of the screen, it says Lean Synergy Staffing. So the Lean Synergy Staffing is focused on staffing organizations with our alumni talent. For you, those that come through our course, it is an employment service. It is a transition service. It is everything that you need to put what you've learned in our training into motion and find out what you want to do next in life. Again, whether that's just simply changing a career or transitioning out of the military. At 5 years, 15 years, 25 years, it doesn't matter. A transition is a transition. Embedded within that staffing, or within Lean Synergy Staffing, is a lot more than just employment services. We have a transition command program in there that one of our wonderful people, Jeremy Monty, that you will all get a chance to meet, teaches and goes through. Phenomenal success with him helping those transition. So we bring you in, we understand what you're looking for, we already know what you're capable of, we trained you. And now what we want to do is find a place to help you move on to the next stage of your life. But it's not simply just moving from one to the other, it's carrying you through that transition, talking about those challenges, helping you with that network, helping you understand what you want to do. Time to focus on you and not the previous career anymore, be it the military or whatever it is. We help you figure that out and then help you look into that direction. Very, very important program, but we believe in what we do so much that we want to take you through the training all the way through to where that fits into industry, help you achieve, hopefully, that six-figure job that we were talking about. So if you're interested in registering, if you look over here, I have some information. leanalaska.com is the website for our training. You can find everything you need there. That is my email address, phil@leanalaska.com. Feel free to send me a request for information at any time. And more importantly, if you just need it right now because there are some limitations, that's my cell phone number. Not a business number, doesn't go to somebody else's voicemail, that calls me directly. Now on the other side of the screen, you see the QR code. Again, that will take you right to our website where you can immediately connect to any of us for any of your questions at any time. I really hope that this gives you a much better picture of who we are at Lean Alaska, Lean Synergy Staffing, what we have to offer, how we can help you. And now all I need is for you to pick up the phone, click on the icon, click on the QR code, whatever it is, come see us. Let us help you make that change in life. Let us help you develop those skills, those leadership skills, those professional skills that are going to stick with you for the rest of your life. I appreciate your time, and I really look forward to seeing you in class.